dogs, got your hot dogs. Come on. Get your hot dogs, try drinking beer. Baseball time. Well, this is great. It's an honor to be here. And I guess if Osceola County hadn't decided to change the stadium from a baseball complex to a soccer complex, we might not have all that stuff in that other room. But we made sure we got it saved before the soccer folks got rid of it. So after we speak here today, please take a look at the exhibit. There's some great things from the stadium that's there that I think will bring back some memories from those of you who did get to enjoy baseball while we had it here. And we had baseball here for 35 years, 32 years of the Houston Astros. And in between those 32 years of the Houston Astros, we had their minor league team, the Osceola Astros and the Kissimmee Cobras. And then right after the Astros left, the last 3 years of the 20-teen decade, we had the Florida Fire problem. But we're going to go back in time and talk about the history of baseball in Osceola County, pretty much starting when we started everything with the Astros. I know there was called a Sand Spur League here, believe it or not, back in 1915, but that didn't last long. But obviously Major League Baseball and the Florida State League, which was part of the Osceola Astros was part of, has been around a long time. So let's go back in time to around 1977. Disney has been here for 6 years now, and the county did this great thing deciding that we're going to have a resort tax when people stay in our hotel rooms. In addition to the sales tax, they're going to pay a little bit extra. And this is going to be collected by the county, called a resort tax, to help with certain things to help fund tourism. Well, the county decided, as the money is building up in our coffers, hey, let's ask the state if we can use resort tax money to build a sports facility. And the state gave a resounding yes, you can. So Osceola County decides they're going to build the first sports facility with resort tax money in our state. And they did. This was the first stadium built with resort tax money in the state of Florida. Everybody since has copied what we started right here. Now, Commissioner Mike Bass is not here tonight. He's under the weather. But Mike was an important part of the commission back then. And the commission, after they got the okay to build the facility, started looking for a baseball team. They didn't know how to do it. But there was a guy out there named Peter Bavasi who had a consulting firm. Peter Bavasi, if you're a baseball guy, know the name Bavasi. His dad, Buzzy Bavasi, was a big shot executive with the Brooklyn Dodgers and Los Angeles Dodgers. Peter Bavasi, his son, grew up in baseball and started the Toronto Blue Jays in '77. Once that franchise got off the ground, Bavasi was now a freelance consultant. The county hired him to find a team. The Astros were training in a place called Cocoa on the coast here, in an old stadium. That old stadium is still there, believe it or not, Cocoa Stadium. And folks in Cocoa weren't going to do anything to fix the facility up, so Bavasi got the Astros with the Osceola County and said, let's get this thing done, let's do it together. So in 1983, the Astros and the county got together and started planning this beautiful baseball facility. So not only is the first one built with resort tax, it's also the first one that has a clover leaf of 4 fields next to a stadium. Prior to that, most major league teams, when they trained in Florida for spring training, had a stadium separate from where their minor league complex was. This time they put it all together for the first time, that all of the 200 minor leaguers that came into for spring training after the major leaguers could be on the same property as their major leaguers, and this helped with their psyche. You walk out of your clubhouse as a raw 18, 19-year-old rookie, and out of the other door to the major side you see Nolan Ryan, and you think, oh, okay, I'm really part of the Astros then, look what I see. So that got to be pretty cool for these guys. So we're the first one built with resort tax. As time went on, we also were the first ones to take credit cards for ticket purchases, believe it or not. We were the first stadium to do that. We also became the first stadium to use Ticketmaster. Prior to that, all the traveling secretaries for the teams would do the ticket sales, and they would wait till, like, I don't know, February 1st, let's start selling for March 1st. And they really didn't have a good plan, and the attendance really wasn't that good. But once you went to Ticketmaster, now you could sell all over the place via computer to sell your tickets. And we also were the first to not only sell tickets to our stadium, but if you came in and you were from Philadelphia and you wanted to see the Phillies came into play, our stadium, and you bought your tickets for that, and you said, oh, by the way, you're from Philadelphia? You know, Clearwater's not too far from here. We could sell you tickets to your game in Clearwater, and we would do that, and we'd make a commission. So we were the first to do that as well. So we have a good time starting everything. Spring training starts in 1985. Disney did a great opening day performance for us. I can still see Jose Cruz and Nolan Ryan dancing with Goofy and Mickey Mouse on the base paths. It was a lot of fun. And then we start the minor league season. And we have a team called the Osceola Astros. And we told Mike Bass and the rest of the county commissioners that we're naming the team after the county because you guys are great. The reality was we could not call it the Kissimmee Astros because if you mispronounce Kissimmee, the Kissimmee Astros. Couldn't do that, called it Osceola. So we're the Osceola Astros for a long time. We were the Osceola Astros until 1994. Then 1995 we changed our name to the Kissimmee Cobras. Believe it or not, it didn't change anything attendance-wise, but merchandising went through the roof because now we had a unique logo. And people could buy your product online and all over the world and buy Cobra stuff. So it was great. It was great marketing too. But let's go back to the beginning of the Osceola Astros because if you were there at the time, you saw incredible talent come through. 1985, our first team ever, we had a third baseman named Ken Caminetti. Probably one of the best defensive third basemen you'll ever see in baseball. Got to the major leagues. And in 1996 was the most valuable player of the National League. You got to see him right here as a kid starting out for $3 watching him. So that was pretty cool. And as time went on, we had a lot of other guys that came through here. You'll see a stolen base or a base inside there that's signed by guys who broke the record in 1988 of stealing the most bases in the Florida State League. The Florida State League being the league that we were part of. And some of those names on there that helped break the record are unique. Carl Rhodes. Now, who is Carl Rhodes? Well, in opening day in 1994 for the Chicago Cubs, he had 3 home runs. First guy ever to hit 3 home runs opening day, and he's a former Osceola Astro. Also on that base is a guy named Manny Acta. Manny Acta played for us, came back and managed us. In fact, he managed our only team to a championship in 1999. Manny Acta went on to be a major league manager of the Washington Nationals and Cleveland Indians, and today he's the third base coach of the Seattle Mariners. Also in Major League Baseball today, you have Scott Service, who's the manager of the Seattle Mariners, played right here. And down in Miami, the pitching coach for the Miami Marlins is Mel Stottlemyre Jr., who was pitched here in 1986. So a lot of great talent came through here, not only as players, but they went on also to great coaching careers. You know what's funny? We've had other tenants besides the Houston Astros that a lot of people don't realize, but we realized that our clubhouse and our 4 fields really weren't being used to a great capacity when the Astros left for Major League season. We just had the Osceola Astros here. We had this big clubhouse that housed 200 minor league kids, but when you're down to what you call extended spring training, after the Major League guys leave and everybody else goes to their different minor league cities, you've got about maybe 30, 40 guys left in this big clubhouse. We started renting out the other half of the clubhouse to other teams, such as the Cincinnati Reds came in 1988 and played in the Gulf Coast League, which is a summer program that starts up after the June amateur draft. We also had the New York Mets here for Instructional League in 1988. That happened in September and October. We had the Dodgers here for Gulf Coast League 89 through 91. And we were the first home of the Florida Marlins, now the Miami Marlins, believe it or not. 1991, they were awarded a Major League franchise. Their first Major League game was not until 1993, but they had a minor league team in 1992, and they played right here with us at Osceola County Stadium. In fact, their very first game, their owner came up. Anybody remember their owner? Guy's name was Wayne Huizinga, who started Blockbuster Video. Wayne Huizinga was here for the very first Florida Marlins minor league game. It was a Gulf Coast League game against the Astros. And we actually used to play all those games from the backfield. We put that one in the stadium because we knew we'd have a good crowd. And the Marlins pitcher actually had a no-hitter through 8 innings before the Astros finally hit the guy. But Huizinga was in our stand signing autographs for everybody. So that was pretty cool. And then we had the Chicago Cubs here in 1994 also for extended spring training in Gulf Coast. So we've had some pretty cool times out there. 1986, 35 years ago, in fact 35 years ago this week, June 28th, we hosted the Florida State League All-Star Game. Now the Houston Astros were going to host the Major League All-Star Game. So we wanted to host the Florida State League All-Star Game to coincide with the Major League team. And it happened to be the 25th anniversary All-Star Game for the Florida State League. So we wanted to make it special, so we decided to have an old-timers game. And we asked everybody in the league, because they all have former Major League players that are on their coaching staff, everybody sent us a player or two who used to play in the big league so we could have an old-timers game prior to the All-Star Game. Everybody did. Got some great names. The night before, I get a phone call from Dodger Town. a guy named Terry Reynolds, who happens right now to be the president of the Florida State League today. He also called and said, can't send Larry Sherry. Now, Larry Sherry was the star of the 1959 World Series. Larry Sherry can't make it. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? I got a substitute. Will Sandy Koufax do? So we had no advanced advertising, but Sandy Koufax showed up the very next day, and he and Bob Feller pitched in our old-timers game. And here's the team photo, which is really cool because there's Sandy Koufax, and there's Bob Feller. Two Hall of Famers that pitched against each other on our field. Right there, Osceola County Stadium, we got proof. Now what's really cool is once those guys pitched in that field, then we can proudly tell you that Osceola County Stadium is probably the only stadium in America where the top 3 no-hit pitchers of all time pitched on our mound. Nolan Ryan, great Astro, has 7 no-hitters. Sandy Koufax has 5, Bob Feller has 4. Nobody else has those numbers. All 3 pitched on our stadium field. I don't think anybody else in this country can claim that, so we're pretty proud of that. So, also in 1986, we were playing the West Palm Beach Expos, the minor league team for the Montreal Expos, and they got this big, tall, lanky left-hander named Randy Johnson pitching. He pitched on our mound. Doesn't mean anything in 1986, but now, 35 years later, we can claim we had the top 3 strikeout pitchers of all time. Nolan Ryan's number 1, Randy Johnson's number 2, and Roger Clemens is number 3, and Clemens pitched here in 04 and 05 when he was with the Astros. So we have the top 3 strikeout pitchers of all time and no-hit pitchers of all time that pitched right here at Osceola County Stadium. So that stuff makes us pretty proud. We've had 3 governors visit us from the first pitch. Lawton Childs was already out of office when he came to see us, but he came. Bob Graham and Charlie Crist have been here. And 2 presidents, and you'll see their pictures inside when you go into the exhibit room. We've had Bill Clinton and George Bush, and we had them in that order because they weren't in office yet. Clinton came in '92 when he was campaigning, and then in '93, after he won the election, George Bush came because George H.W. Bush was friends of the owner of the Astros, Mr. Drayton McClain. So we've had 2 presidents here as well, which is pretty cool. We've had over 75 Hall of Famers come through, and most valuable players and rookies of the year. We've really had a great time doing old-timers games and fantasy camps. For those of you who don't know what a fantasy camp is, that's when you've got a lot of money and you're going to live out your fantasy and pay $5,000 to spend a week hanging out with former ball players. You're going to dress with them all week, you're going to work out with them, and on the last day of the camp, you're going to play in the stadium against these former stars. And we've had Hall of Famers like Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Al Kaline, Harmon Killebrew, Brooks Robinson. We've had some, Ferguson Jenkins. Negro, yeah. Now, I'm going to take a moment to talk about fantasy camps because it helps me introduce the old staff. So, we got this game with these fantasy campers against all the old timers. Well, all these old guys are in their 50s and 60s. Nobody wants to catch, right? Nobody wants to catch. So, me being a nice guy that I am, I always let Gateway High School practice at our field until they got their own stadium built. Well, I need a catcher, so I go up to the Gateway coach, I need a catcher. They send me this guy right here. And he catches a Hall of Famer, Ferguson Jenkins, his first day working for us, because from that day on, we couldn't get rid of him. He was a bat boy, clubhouse attendant, ticket seller, everything to the point where he also became our stadium assistant director, and now he runs Austin Tyndall and does a hell of a great job there with Jeff Kinsley. This guy here, Pete Rodriguez, we hired him in 94? 93. He was my assistant, and when I left for a couple of years to leave, Pete got promoted to take my place, and he did a hell of a job for 11 years running that stadium. Good job, Pete. Our office manager kept us all straight, Kathy Rogacki. So, and I'm so thankful that they came out today to help us celebrate this great day, because we had a lot of great memories there and a lot of fun. We had the first Cy Young Award winner that ever pitched there was Mike Scott. He pitched there and won the Cy Young in '86. In 1990, there was a trade where the Houston Astros sent Larry Anderson to the Red Sox for a kid named Jeff Bagwell. Jeff Bagwell showed up in the fall of 1990, played in the Instructional League. The following year, he's pushing Caminetti to play third base. Caminetti was not budging. Made Bagwell first baseman, rookie of the year in 1991. Then Bagwell becomes MVP in 1994. 96, Caminetti becomes the MVP of the National League. 2001, New York Yankees, Arizona Diamondbacks, Game 7 in Arizona. Mariano Rivera on the mound. The guy batting game-winning hit, Luis Gonzalez. Gonzo played here in 1989, and he won the World Series for Arizona in 2001. So amazing, amazing. Most recently, obviously, Roger Clemens won his 7th Cy Young, pitching for the Astros in 2004. Carlos Correa, 2015 Rookie of the Year, started at our place. 2017, Jose Altuve, MVP, started at our place. And after we got done with the Cobras, we had a team called the Fire Frogs. And believe it or not, believe it or not, the Fire Frogs, 17, 18, and 19. In 2018, Ronald Acuna Jr. is the National League Rookie of the Year, and he played here in 17. In 18, he's the Rookie of the Year in the Major Leagues, and today he's leading the Braves. I won't. I have some baseball-oriented. But anyway, I've lived an American dream. There is no question I lived the American dream. When you're a kid and you love baseball and you don't have the talent to play, but you get to work in the game, it's the next best thing. I never went to work. I went to the ballpark every day. I was very, very fortunate. Met some wonderful people. I met my wife at a ballpark, believe it or not. Patty. Say hi, Patty. And it's, can I tell the story? You all want to hear the story how we met?
Yeah.
Opening day, 1982, Daytona Beach. I'm running the Daytona Beach Astros baseball team before we moved here and became the Osceola Astros. And in 81, we won the Florida State League Championship. So I have this big phone campaign to sell out the stadium, opening day of 82. And we're losing to the Vero Beach Dodgers, and Sid Fernandez pitched for the Dodgers, who became a star for the Mets. Anyway, it's the third inning, and I got a packed house. And this woman comes up to me, and she says, "Are you Don Miers?" And I said, "Well, it's pronounced Miers." And she said, "Well, I asked your staff, they don't even know your name." They don't care, as long as it's right on the paycheck, they don't care. "Can I help you, ma'am?" And she says, "Yeah, it's the third inning and we're out of toilet paper in the ladies' room." And I'm like, oh. Okay, I'm sorry, I will get you a roll of toilet paper, I'll take care of it, we'll get someone to take care of it. And I take a step and I go, oh, wait a minute. All my female employees are tied up at the concession stand. If I give you the box of toilet paper, will you stock it? Oh, great. Not only are you out of toilet, now you want the guest. So she kindly goes and stocks the toilet paper for me in the ladies' room. And I said, what are you doing here anyway? And she was using one of my biggest sponsors, had a big fence on, Buttleman Sporting Goods, and he also had season tickets, and she was using his season tickets. So, and I said, well, keep coming back, keep using them, and sure enough, we met over toilet paper, here we are. The great thing about baseball in the community, number one, is the economic impact. And I think the smartest thing that we did in Osceola County, and I can't take credit for this because it was the vision of the commissioners at the time, I was just, the man to help see their vision through. When we weren't using those backfields for anything professional, we rented it out for all kind of events. Travel baseball, because when you come in with your 12-year-old son, you're not coming alone. Mom, dad, brother, sister, grandparents are coming, and they all stay in our hotels. And it was fantastic, the economic impact that we were bringing in. We started an umpire school. Jim Evans was a great successful American umpire, and we got him to bring his baseball umpire school to us in January, which was fantastic when we're normally not using the stadium. So we did a lot of those backfields. So economic impact is what drives, a facility in a community with sports. The second part of it, having baseball in the community, obviously, is the entertainment value. Because not only is the economic impact there for the people staying in your hotel rooms, but you're buying from locals for your stadium. You're hiring locals. Most high school kids, their first jobs are going to be at your stadium. So you have the entertainment value. The most inexpensive form of family entertainment there is baseball, minor league baseball in the community. And finally, the last thing is just what we talked about, the history and the nostalgia. Could you imagine watching the 2001 World Series when Gonzo hits that hit and you go, I remember him 13 years ago in Kissimmee. Or when Caminetti gets the MVP, man, I remember that guy when he was playing third base in Kissimmee. So the memories that you get are phenomenal. Watching and the baseball in these small towns. Do you have something you want to say, Mr. Lynch? The Olive Garden Classic. Thanks for bringing it up. That's how you and I met. He was on the committee of the Olive Garden Classic with the Florida Citrus Sports. And here was a great story. So in the old clubhouse, we had a meeting room that we used to rent out for Chamber of Commerce events and wedding receptions and what have you. Church. We had church in there, right? Discount house of worship, but it was a church. The Chamber of Commerce brought in Chuck Rowe from Florida Citrus Sports. They had just gone from a end of the year bowl game to a January 1st bowl game. So they were big news. Now he's going to branch out and do college baseball. And he's on the stage of the podium at our building saying that he's going to work with Boardwalk in baseball for a college tournament. Now, not on my turf here. You any questions? Yes, sir. I got a question for you, Chuck Rowe. You don't need to go to Boardwalk in baseball if you're a college tournament. You come right here. And we talked him into it, and we had the Olive Garden Classic here for about 6 years. And it was great college Division I baseball teams. Notre Dame, Pepperdine, Clemson. We had some great schools here. Jason Veritek, who became a star of the Red Sox, played here with Georgia Tech. So, yeah, we could talk forever about the different talent that's come through different levels. We had the Senior Little League World Series, where the kids at 13, 14, and 15 would play at our stadium from around the world, Taiwan, Germany, South America. So we had a lot of great things happening at the stadium. I'm sorry it's no longer baseball, but you know, things evolve and things change with any community. But we had a great run, and you can see a lot of that in the next room when you see the things we have on display. And I'll be around if you have any questions or comments you'd like to make there. So thank you very much.
Hey.